But also leads to like exactly what Mark said. This whole structured idea, I think, is great. But not only that, the pods lead, well, in this instance anyway, is for healthy debate as well. We can actually have conflicting views on a topic as well. Because I think that sort of gets a bit lost in society these days, doesn't it? Where you can actually voice something without fear of retribution.
Yeah, it was funny that you say that, James, because I had like two people reach out and were commenting on how I was disagreeing with you boys on some topics last week, and they're like, "That's great. You guys have got to just do more of that, so that it's people can see different points of view of an issue, right?"
Yeah, and I think what people are doing as well. Go ahead, sorry, James.
I was going to say, yeah, I mean, and on certain topics and whatnot, and guided by, I think that the sit down we're going to have week after next will be good, because you can, as you said, might have got a little bit lost, and you can start to see it in the comments, which I read as well. And we got fairly blitzed last week, and a few of them could start to get lean a bit one way the whole time. So it'll be good to have a reset and go, right, what do we actually really want to talk about? Are we going to just hammer this one narrative, or like open up to Google Trends, what's on the minds of people versus what's just on our mind?
And I think it'll help each. I think it helps each of us individually to get clear on our North Stars away from the podcast. Because if I look around at the four of us, we've all had a bunch of different and varying success in different industries and different fields, and we're all kind of at a fork in the road. I feel like each of us, all four of us, are kind of at a fork in the road where we could go this way or we could go that way for our North guiding star off the pod. And that's probably shining through in these podcasts as well, that you're seeing us at these crossroads and kind of going back and forth on different topics as we try and sort through that. So yeah, I mean, I'm speaking for myself there, but I think each of us are kind of at that point where we could go in any direction because we've built the base.
Yeah, I think it's very important as well for us to realize that the Friday pods is where people really build relationships with us. They want to know about what we are doing as well in our personal lives from an investment point of view. You know, what Adam's thinking. I'm in Cyprus now, but I'm thinking of maybe setting something up in Bali or going here. You know, what we're doing in our personal lives, like you as an example, Mark, on the weekend going camping. It builds relationship, and that's what happens when people long form content, like the guy that I met on the boat, he's reciting things right from previous pods. Like he's like, oh, I love the one when you guys mentioned this, or about your family. I get a lot of people commenting about the family piece, and it's you don't realize it, but people are building relationships with all of us on the pod, and we have to make sure that we're very clear on that and okay with that, to be speaking about some of the personal things that we're actually doing in our business, results, failures, successes, because we're real people just like anyone else.
I want you guys listening just to know that we do think about you a lot, and we are trying to balance bringing you content that you guys are interested in, that we individually are interested in. And as Mark said, we're all at very different phases of our lives and careers, and also trying to weigh in what the algorithm tells us, and because we've got all the data. And so there's, unfortunately, this universe that we live in, it's an incentivized world. The world of attention has incentives, and the algorithms rewards things that necessarily we might not agree with morally or want to or have an interest in doing, right? Like if you look at all the influencers that are blowing up, we've got Big Chalky coming in for an interview soon, the coach, the controversial coach. He's fantastic, right? But he's like Matt Cameron. He's polarizing, and the algorithm loves polarizing people that keep you raged up, right? So we just got to really think about, what do we individually want to do? What do we want to do as a brand, Unemployable? And I just want you guys to know, we are listening, we read the comments, and we are going to take a full day shortly, and maybe even have a week or two off from content, maybe even a month, who knows, where we just reset so that when we go into 2026, we'll be able to articulate to you, this is what this Friday show is going to be about. Here's how we're going to run it this year until we have another meeting. And I'm actually really excited to see what comes out of it. Speaking of arguments, now one thing I want to get to today is this 5% deposit scheme, and I want to share some data with you guys and I want to talk about it. But before we dive into that, I want to just pick up on something that I was thinking about quite a bit last week, and I'd love your guys' thoughts on this, and maybe we can have a live, thought experiment with it.